everyone, this is Julia with episode number 61 of the Mixology Talk podcast. The holidays are coming fast, and around here, that means the busiest time of year is coming. The holidays around here mean large corporate parties, after-work happy hours, and generally really, really busy shifts. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how you can survive the holidays and, hopefully, keep sane so you can make it to January when things start to cool off again.
So the holidays can be amazing. I mean, you get your friends, you get your family, you're surrounded by people you love. But in a service industry, it could be some of the worst part of the year, too.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
It truly is. You're just so much business out there every single day. People are celebrating. They're going out with their friends and family. And you're busy for usually a couple of months.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, the whole reason I learned to make my very first cocktail was because of how beat you were during the holiday season.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. I think I came home one day and you're just like, I don't even know what to do. I need to make you better.
Yep, and you said, all I need is a Manhattan.
Manhattan, yeah.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, and I knew I was going to marry you at that point.
Aw, that's so romantic.
So romantic.
So the holidays are crazy. That's just the short and the end of it. And I think at the end of the day, the only tip we're going to give you is just being prepared, and lots of different versions of that. When you look ahead to the holidays, it's going to be busy. It's going to be strenuous. It's going to be hard on you physically. But if you can prepare in advance now, and if you can prepare in advance before your shifts, and if you can work ahead, you can really, really make a difference in, frankly, your own sanity as you get through these months.
It's totally true. It's just all about looking forward and looking ahead and kind of predicting, a couple of months down the road, because as soon as we get into Thanksgiving, it's pretty much on. Actually, about the end of Halloween, towards the end of Halloween. It's just
so it's already too
busy.
late, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you're listening to this, it's too late. But there's still a couple things you can do. So the very first thing is to, like I said, plan ahead. Talk to your coworkers. Find out what holidays they want off, because not everybody wants to have Christmas off. Some people would prefer to have Thanksgiving off.
And your bar may not even be open on those days.
Right. So these are all great things to find out. And kind of one of the other things is you're going to need the support of all your teammates now more so than ever. So relying on everybody and kind of opening up that line of communication is going to be vital for the holidays.
Along that note, I would say that if you have not actually worked through a holiday season at the place where you are working now, have that conversation, because every bar is different. Every block is different. And so if you can have that conversation and figure out what's it going to be like based on what it was like last year or the year before, that's just going to help you out. I think one of the things that you might see is a weird day of the week might be popular because you just happen to be near a certain event or something. So
right.
You can really keep track. I know
all the corporate parties, everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
For you, I mean, it was like Friday afternoons were crazy busy because that's when all the happy hours would happen.
Well, that and just like pretty much every day. We were
nonstop.
I was very fortunate. I worked right in the middle of financial district. So all the corporate parties happen, in a very handful of restaurants.
And
so
you were one of them.
Busy all the time. But when this happens, like I said, just plan ahead. And this is all just advice. So, you can take it or leave it, but plan as much ahead as possible. So one of the things I'd like to do is just pre-batch as much as possible. If you have a signature cocktail, make sure that you have enough of everything, or even pre-batch it so that you don't run out.
Well, and if you have the opportunity to actually design this cocktail with a busy season in mind, you can really be very proactive here. So, for example, you could do a punch style drink that's easy to make in very large volumes and frankly easy to serve in large volumes. Yeah. And it's got a good Me Too quality to it, especially if you can pull off a fun garnish of some sort that is not time consuming, or serve it in a little punch glass that is eye-catching. This is a great way to get the Me Too factor going on a cocktail that has a good margin and really easy for you to make quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And easy for you to batch more of quickly.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, just make everything as simple as possible. And when you're super busy behind the bar and you're just kind of slowly beginning to sink, and I'm sure you guys know exactly what I mean, have a couple of really easy cocktails in your back pocket that are tasty but easy to execute. This could save you a lot of time throughout the day and kind of save your sanity as well.
Right. Now, what would you say about like having, for example, if your cocktail menu normally has a complicated drink or two on it, would you take those off for the holiday season?
No, but this would come in handy when somebody walks up to the bar and said, "Hey, I've never been here before. What should I get?" Then you have that opportunity.
Don't recommend the hardest drink.
Right. I mean, it's all common sense, but a lot of what we talk about is just plain common sense.
Yeah. But don't say you're out of it if you're not actually out
right,
of it.
Exactly.
I'm talking to you, mojito people.
But usually I'll lead the conversation with 3 items because most people pick one of those 3 items. Just kind of stack your suggestions accordingly. This worked out for me.
House wine,
right, and
water.
House, warm gin. I don't know.
Warm gin. Oh my gosh. I really hope that isn't a thing.
But yeah, just kind of keep that in mind as you're going through your day.
So along those lines, definitely make sure you over prepare. So you worked a day shift, Chris, but you sort of went straight into the evening shift after that because of the craziness of happy hour, right?
Yeah, and we actually didn't even have happy hour. We were just so busy. We just went straight from opening lunch all the way through to dinner and to closing time. There was never really any downtime. So
how did you restock?
I would just overstock everything. So I would actually prepare 2 full shifts worth of garnish. So that way, when my relief came in at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, all I would have to do is restock the garnishes. I wouldn't have to replenish and cut everything fresh. So just over prepared as much as possible. Do it responsibly. Don't do, an entire case of lime wedges, but do stuff you're going to go through in 1 full day's worth of shifts.
And this stuff will probably shake out over time as you start to see what your Fridays look like. You've got 2-3 months in the holiday season, so you've got some time to figure it out.
Right.
So along those lines, I'm talking about your colleagues coming in at 3-4 o'clock. I know one of your biggest pet peeves was when, if I remember correctly, the next guy was supposed to show up at 3, but he never seemed to do that.
Well, and it's one of those, I think I mentioned it earlier, just teamwork is going to be vital during the holidays. Opening those lines of communication with who wants what days off, but this is going to be an old man rant or, a manager rant. I'm sure you've heard it a million times, especially when you're busy. If it's 3 o'clock start time says 3 o'clock, that doesn't mean come in 3 o'clock, grab a cup of coffee, order some fries. It means you're taking your first customer and you're prepared at 3 o'clock. Okay, I'm off my soapbox, but those are, for you as a bartender, you want to get in there and you want to start making money as soon as possible. So it's really vital in your best interest as well. Get in there and start taking your customers as soon as you can.
Well, and I think that just shows respect also to the bartender that you're relieving. They've already been through probably a crazy shift already. And so just being there on time to take over, that's just respectful.
Yeah, and this kind of brings us to the other end of that spectrum. I was the opening bartender, but I would always stay longer and help to replenish and build everything up again because walking into a busy shift, starting cold, it takes time to warm up to that kind of speed. So I would typically stay like an hour and a half and make sure that the handoff was nice and easy. So it's a 2-way street.
Well, and I think also during the holidays, it's just par for the course. Come in early and stay late. You're going to make more money and that's okay. But it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm just being an old lady about it. I think we're in this together. But it just seems like when everything is crazy, it's just all hands on deck.
Yeah. And one of those little tips I have for you when it's super busy, and this can work at just about any bar, is what I call the typewriter method. So imagine.
Did you make that up?
No, I think I might have picked it up from another bartender that trained me a long time ago.
I like it.
Yeah, but imagine you have a 10-seat bar. You have 1 through 10 as far as the seats go, obviously. But you would start off with 1 and go to 2 and then go to 3 and all the way to 10. And then when you're done with 10, you wrap around and go all the way back to 1. So it's basically like a typewriter.
You could also call it maybe like the sprinkler method.
Totally. The Rainbird method.
Oh, I like that. Oh, man, guys, you are getting sound effects.
Yep, absolutely. Increasing the production quality of this podcast 100-fold, and that scares me.
Oh, no. Does that mean we don't get any accents this time?
No, I think my deep voice right now, my jazzy voice right now.
Your sultry, cold voice.
But it's just, and then if you're a lone bartender and you're working a speed or a service well as well, you could put that into your repertoire. So seats 1 through 10, service well. seats 1 through 10, service well. So you have this logical system. People will pick it up, servers will pick it up, and they'll get less inclined to sit there and wait for their cocktails.
So all of this being said, no matter what, the holidays are exhausting. I don't know. Maybe you work somewhere that's actually pretty chill during the holidays, in which case, in some ways, I envy you. But I think for the most part, the holidays are just kind of crazy. And so there are a few things that you may want to think about in terms of keeping up your energy and your sanity for your physical being as well.
Yeah. So one of the first things is, when you're done with a busy shift, the first thing you want to do is kind of unwind. And sometimes that first beer could turn into 2 beers, could turn into 3 beers, followed by a round of shots. You know how the lifestyle goes. So kind of curbing that a little bit and focusing on, staying healthy will go a long way to kind of making the holidays a lot smoother.
And frankly, make you a lot more money. I mean, if you show up for your next shift hungover, at best, you're just not going to be performing at your best, and you're not going to be making as much money for that reason. At worst, you're going to get sent home. Yeah,
and, along the lines, a lot of the stuff, as I keep saying, is just common sense, but it will pan out during the holidays. Another thing is just to get a good night's sleep. It's so important to get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the first things to go. It's very easy to skip the sleep if you think that, you're so busy and you don't have time, but going without adds up. And I think that just a couple days off in between, or one day off, if you're anything like how Chris used to work, it's not enough. It's not enough to catch up. And so just keeping this in mind throughout is definitely important and will pay off.
Yeah. And, as well with the diet and the food, eat healthy, work out. If you're in yoga, that's great. Get some of that energy out of your body. And it's going to go a lot better for you during the holidays.
We sound like a mom or a doctor.
I know, seriously. Oh, my God.
This is so terrible.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
We're total hypocrites, too, because I remember, you never slept during the holiday. You didn't drink a lot.
I didn't drink a lot.
You definitely pared back the drinking, but yeah. I know definitely sleep went out the window. And the other thing we're going to mention is working out. Yep. and staying limber, stretching. I remember, I think the first time you ever got the tennis elbow was during the holidays. Yeah. And it was because you were working yourself like crazy.
And it would always flare up during the holidays. So this is something I learned. And so kind of, definitely hypocritical, but hopefully learn from my mistakes.
We're such old people.
Right, exactly. Get off my lawn!
Do as I say, not as I do.
But just take care of yourself. At the end of the day, be proactive, take care of yourself. And along the same lines, if this is your first year in the service industry, be prepared. After, New Year's Eve, it's going to dry up. It's going to be very slow all the way until, probably the end of tax season, April 15th.
Yeah, definitely. But in some ways that can be a good thing. A lot of people need the time to defrag. They need the time to cool off. A lot of people don't drink in January. I've heard this is pretty common in the industry to sort of
take a month off. Yeah.
Detox.
Sobertober. It's a thing.
Yeah, Sobertober is before the holidays.
Right.
And January is after.
So the moral of the story, think ahead, plan ahead, and just take care of yourself.
And plan a vacation for January.
Yeah, totally.
With all of the buckets of money that you made.
It's like Scrooge McDuck diving into that pool of gold.
Just like that. We actually have a room like that downstairs in our garage. It's totally just like that.
It's completely empty, though. It's sad.
It's completely... It's filled with mothballs.
Yeah.
So I hope your holiday season is busy, but not too busy. I hope you take care of yourself. I hope you make lots and lots of money. And I hope you remember to stretch, because tennis elbow stinks. I had to see Chris get through that, and it is rotten, and it comes back every single year. So this is coming from the old lady on the other side of the microphone. Definitely remember to stretch before your shift. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Cheers. Never miss an episode by subscribing in iTunes or YouTube. And as always, check out the show notes by clicking on the right.